Thank you so much for taking the time and clicking this video and joining me in this creative process as I'm finding new ways of creating content. I just released a project not too long ago and it got a lot of great feedback. The community was so encouraging and I just left feeling so happy and so thankful for all of you. I had some people reach out to me and ask me if I can make a BTS of the production and how I did the arrangements and the music. So I thought that today I could kind of share a little bit of my process. And before I even get to there, I want to just share with you how this song even came about. Everything that I explained in the video is exactly true to who I am. It's a collection of sounds and instruments and music that I've heard throughout my growth and me growing up. And that's what I infused into the track. And recently I got a chance to go to India. And when I went to India, I discovered some sounds that were just so authentic to who I was. I got some time to spend with my friends. They gave me some patches, plugin samples. And one of the plugins that they gave me was this plugin called India. It's actually through Contact. And I'm able to play some of those instruments like tabla, sitar, and flute. And I can play it on my MIDI keyboard and it sounds very authentic to the sound of that very same instrument. I think a lot of people who made that sound are actually the musicians that play professionally. So those samples are infused in that plugin. So I want to kind of go through now how this song even came about. So the first thing that I even do when I'm making a song is I always get my piano, some kind of instrument that can lay down a chord progression and can be a foundation always for me. In this sense, it was a more poppier song. It had a more upbeat type of feeling. So rather than playing a mellow piano, I found these awesome synths and I'm just going to sample each one. Here's the first one. And after I had sampled that sound, and so some of the plugins that I use, again, is through Contact, is Analog Dream, Hybrid Keys. I even use Serum, the wavetable synth. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I use like Giant or Alicia Keys just to give it a little bit more of a foundation. And once I find that synth that just sounds exactly right to me, I'll kind of change the different sounds of it and then it'll be tucked into my mix. Here's the other synth as well. And some inspiration for that synth is my worship background. So as you can tell, it has like Hillsong Young and Free type of feel. It has like certain like poppy elements and it's very just present in the mix. So I try to find something that just blends well together. And now when you combine both the synths, this is how it sounds. So both of them are just creating a rhythm and a foundation for the song for me to be able to build upon. So once I had that, I started to bring out all my live instruments. Now the first thing that I always bring out is acoustic guitar. The reason for that is because recently I also been practicing guitar to kind of bring out the beauty of acoustic guitar. I'm not just talking about 4 chords and just strumming the 4 chords. I'm talking about plucking and doing different finger styles to bring out this other beautiful side of the acoustic that we sometimes neglect. And so some of my inspirations behind that is like Bon Iver, specifically the song called Holocene. Hollow Coves is another great band that I love. Coastline was an inspiration for me. And then also a lot of Malayalam and Hindi songs have this melodic acoustic sound that is just kind of present and also playing in the background. So here's what I try to replicate. And all that really is me just playing a 4-bar loop. And just a tip and a secret, what I do is I slow down the BPM. So in this case, it was 88. I think I slowed it down to like 70 or 65. And I just played that arpeggiating sound on the acoustic guitar, super slow. And then I sped it up on Ableton because Ableton is a powerful DAW where you can speed up certain sounds and certain samples, and it stays really authentic to that sound. So that's all I did. And I did that with acoustic, and it's just a loop again, over and over and over again. Then I added this other acoustic guitar, which is me just strumming a just really fun pattern that adds a more of a rhythmic element to the song. And here's how it sounds. Again, I slowed it down, recorded it, sped it back up on Ableton. Now, once I had those 4 elements, the synths and the acoustic, here's how that sounds. Once I got all of that, now it's time for me to lay a little bit of a foundation to the song. Something that just, you can feel the chords, you can feel the changes in the rhythm and the beat. So the next thing that I went to was the drums. Here's how it sounds. So to kind of explain how this sample even came about is I have a collection of samples that I have just accumulated throughout years, and some of these samples are from different packs. I have 80 sound packs. I have this artist called Alkai, which is really awesome. I love his sample packs. And I have like worship drum packs, many packs that I have. And what I do is I take specific samples, like if I like a snare, if I like a kick, instead of going through different drum sets or different like plugins, I just find the right pack that I really like. And then after you do that, those of you guys that are rap producers or make beats, you know that adding hi-hat creates another element to the song, and it just brings out another feel for the drums. And so I added this 8-note hi-hat. So the eight note hi-hat is mixed in a way where the velocity changes, so it sounds like it's a real person playing. If it was just a steady hi-hat, it takes away from the rawness and the authenticity of the drums, and the drums are already quantized, so you need some kind of element that feels like it's not like super in time, you know, someone's playing it live. So when you put those things together, here's how it sounds. Once I got the drums and the hi-hats, I proceeded to add the bass. We all love bass. Here's how that sounds. It's just a simple chord progression that just follows the synth that I had played earlier. I think I added some EQ, some Fab Filter Pro Q, and I might have put like a CLA compressor on that. And that's it. I didn't want to make it too boomy, too bassy, too sub-end. I just wanted to make it a simple bass line that can just be tucked in, because certain songs, the bass and drums are very prominent, but in this case, I want to highlight some of the other instruments in this song. So once I had gotten all that, I proceeded to add my favorite instrument, the first instrument that I learned to truly play. I played drums first, but this electric guitar is influenced from my worship background. And here's how it sounds. It's just heavy reverb, dotted 8th note, a single chord just playing a pattern just to add that rhythm, and that's it. I don't know if I even added a lot of EQ on there, maybe just a few things to clean up some of the bright end, but that's pretty much how it sounds. And then after that, I put this other electric guitar, which is more of the melodic section of the track. And so some of my inspiration from that is like, if you listen to EDM tracks, there's like this motif that's happening with some instrument. Usually it's electric guitar or a synth, but it's something that just keeps repeating. My influences are like Martin Garrix, Kygo, Calvin Harris. And if you listen to their songs, there's this like instrument that just keeps playing and looping over and over again. And so that's what I try to do with this electric guitar. Here's how it sounds. And that's all it is. It's just me playing that loop and playing this reoccurring theme throughout the song that maybe at the time when you're listening to it, you don't realize it, but then your mind is kind of seeing some kind of repetition and can see that, oh, wow, there's something familiar about the track. When you add all those together, I'm just gonna add just all the live instruments, including the synths. Here's how that sounds. Yeah, and then so the track started coming together, and it had such a good feel, especially when I added some of these elements. And it doesn't always happen that way, but for some reason everything was just fitting right. Everything was in this right frequencies. Now it was up to me to add some of those elements, those Indian sounds and those sounds from back home that just felt like it brings a different feel to the song. I'm gonna take a little bit of a moment to explain this because I think it's just very important. So if I just open up Contact, this is a Tabla plugin. There we go. So it's able to play a looping bar and just plays it over and over again. And you can do whatever rhythms you want, fills. The important thing is to make sure you match the key because Tabla is tuned a certain way. And I played at half the speed because when I was recording it, I did double time. But I did half the speed for this because I want it to be a little bit more groovier. And once you lay that down, I mean, you just find the right pocket, what feels right. And this is the recording of the Tabla. And it's so important for how you mix that with the drums. You want to make sure the drums and the bass and the Tabla are in the right place, sitting in the right frequencies. You don't want the snares and the high end of the Tabla to clash. You don't want the bass boomy part of the Tabla and the kick to clash. So that's very important. Once I got that, next was for the melodic instrument with this, which is sitar in this case. And so before I can lay that, there's another instrument called a centaur, which is a little bit like an acoustic guitar, sounds like it, but it adds like presence whenever you're playing sitar. So here's how that sounds. So you can play chords, you can do different things, but it just adds an extra layer to sitar whenever you're playing it. Here's a sitar. Important thing with sitar is using the mod table, the mod wheel to help you get a little bit more of that authentic sound. Once I combine both those together, here's how it sounds. And it just sounds so pretty, so beautiful. After that, I laid down everyone's favorite instrument, which is this flute. Same thing, just like with Contact, just brought it up. Just get the right sound, get the right tone. Contact is just amazing. There's so many different things you could do. I still haven't tapped into the full potential of it, but you could play on your left hand, you could do certain rhythms, and the right hand, you could do different melodies, and it creates like different feels to the song. But for this song, because I'm just learning it, I just did a simple flute line, which sounds like this. EQing Bansuri flute was a little bit of a challenge, so I had to cut out a lot of the high end. And when I cut out the high end, I also added some reverb, some delay, Valhalla, room, Valhalla, delay, and added a little compressor to make it fit exactly right in the mix. And when you add all those elements together, that's all of the South Asian Indian influence sounds kind of coming together. And once you get to the end of the track, you add all the extra sauce. So in this case, I added this awesome effect, which is all the Indian sounds combined together, mixed down, bounced out, reverse, added some effects. That's all it is. You add some sweeps and some impacts. You combine all the elements together. That's how I came up with this track. Here's how it sounds. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who watched this video and was interested in the process of me making this song. And I'm just excited for more content and for more things to drop in the future. Thank you so much.